In this video, I will show you how to enroll or add your classes. First, you'll want to double check that it is your enrollment registration time, which you will be able to find on the right-hand side of your MySSU below the Holds and To-Do List tabs during an enrollment period. It will give you the start date and time as well as the end date and time. So to start adding classes, first you'll want to click the Enroll link under Academics on the left-hand side of your MySSU. Next, you'll want to choose the correct term. So for our video, that will be Spring 2014. It will take you to this screen, Select Classes to Add. This will only appear if you have a valid enrollment time. So if you try to register for classes prior or after your enrollment time, you will receive a message saying you're unable to add. As you can see, there are other tabs to choose from under Enroll, such as Drop or Swap. We'll refer to those tabs in a later video, but for now we'll just focus on this Add tab. So here's where we would start using our 4-digit class numbers that we wrote down from our class search video, which you can review for greater details. But as a quick refresher, there are two ways to add classes, so I'll show you both by choosing a new class to add. You can either add classes with this Enter Class Number tab, which is where we would enter our class numbers from the previous video, or this Class Search tab. Once we start choosing classes and adding them, they'll appear in our shopping cart, which we'll explain a little bit later. So for now, let's choose a brand new class and start with the class search. So this will bring us to a familiar screen of the Enter Search criteria. I'm going to do a new subject, another lower division GE class, WGS 280, Women and Gender Studies. So I know the shorthand is WGS, and I know the class number is 280. And I'm once again going to keep this Show Open Classes Only checkbox marked. So when we do our search, only open classes will appear. That again will take us to our search results. And we can see that 280 is offered on Mondays from 2 to 5:40 p.m. And once again, the status should be this green open circle. And we can see that fits in with our schedule. So the next new step will be, in this adding process, is to click Select Class. That will take us to this brand new page of Select Classes to Add Enrollment Preferences. So we can see that, once again, it's on Mondays from 2 to 5:40, it's a lecture, and it fulfills GE Area E. But I'd like to draw your attention to some new components: waitlist, permission number, and grading. First, for grading, for certain classes, we can choose if we want to have the class graded as a letter grade, so A through F, or as a credit, no credit course. This depends on the class and it depends on our major requirements, but we can choose which way we'd like it. So we'll say this class we would like graded. Next, there's the permission number box. This is if a class requires instructor or department consent. And either way, you can obtain a permission number from the instructor or the department if you need consent and would type it into this box here. Lastly, this wait list if class is full checkbox will remain unmarked when you're enrolling in classes. So if you would like to waitlist a class, you will have to check the box. And if you would not like to waitlist a class, then it will stay unchecked. Next, we will click Next. So WGS 280 has been added to our shopping cart. And we can see it is here and our shopping cart is no longer empty. I would like to draw your attention to the class number because we could have added this class in a different way. So we can see that the class number is 1034. This is that 4-digit class number we would have written down if we had looked up 280 in the class search video. But for now, we're doing the class search add. So we'll keep this in our shopping cart. We recommend adding classes one at a time rather than filling up your shopping cart to guarantee that classes remain open and you can add them throughout the process. Occasionally, if you fill up your shopping cart, a class may be added by somebody else and is now full, etc. So I recommend adding class one at a time. So once a class has been added to your shopping cart, you're going to want to click Proceed to Step 2 out of 3 because you're not finished enrolling, it's just in your cart. Just like online shopping. So now we've come to the confirm class pages. We double check that this is the class we actually want. WGS 280, Mondays 2 to 5:40, etc. And it's still open, so we're going to click finish enrolling. You have to click this last step, finish enrolling, to have the class added to your schedule. Lastly, it will take you to this step 3 view results page. So you'll want to pay attention to both sets, this red X error especially, meaning unable to add this class, or a green checkmark success, which means you also want to read the messages below. So this message says you're required to take this requirement for this class, disregard error, this is information only. This course fulfills GE requirements. So we see that this is just an information message letting us know that it's a GE class, which we wanted, and so the green checkmark means status is good, we added the class. So that's what exactly we are hoping for. So if we want to double check, we can click My Class Schedule. And there we can see it all listed out for us. We can also look at the class schedule in a weekly calendar view if we'd like. So let's go back and add the class the second way by doing our 4-digit class number we had recommended in the class search to make the process easier and quicker. So that's most likely the way you'll be adding classes is with the 4-digit class number, but I wanted you to know there's 2 ways. So for the video purposes, to show you both ways, I've brought us back to that select classes to add screen with a schedule where we haven't added any classes yet, and we've done that spring 2014 term. So let's select classes to add in that more efficient way we talked about with the entering the class number. So if you recall, that WGS 280 class had a class number of 1034. So this is where you would add all of those class numbers you have written down from the previous video, the class search video, which you can do every semester. So for this, we'll just put in the 4-digit class number of 1034 and hit enter. Next, it'll take us to that same page where for your video, for your adding of classes, this waitlist box will be unchecked and you'll check it if you want to waitlist the class or keep it unchecked if you don't, where you could enter that permission number again or that graded or credit no credit, just like we did previously. So we'll hit next. And then once again, the WGS 280 has been added to our shopping cart, and we'll proceed to step 2 out of 3. And click finish enrolling, which will once again take you to that final step screen with the green check mark for success to make sure you read the messages below. And once again, it's disregard information only, the GE requirement fulfillment, or especially pay attention to this red X, meaning you were unable to add the class. It's an error, and it will tell you why. So you can make sure if it's you don't have the prerequisites, it's not within your major, the class is full, or any of these other errors that you may be able to fix or not. So once we've successfully added a class, we can click add another class and keep shaping and arranging our schedule for the semester. Make sure you always proceed to step 2 out of 3 and click finish enrolling, and you're not done until you see this green check mark, as well as all of the messages make sense to you and fit in with all of your requirements, etc. So you can also once again look at your class schedule, and that will take you to this list view of your class schedule, the WGS 280, with all of the information, or you can click weekly calendar view, which will take you to this nice calendar view once you've finished your schedule of all of your classes on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and you can see them listed out and start planning your schedule, work schedule, etc. So those are the 2 ways to add a class, either the class search or using that 4-digit class number. And in the next video, we'll show you how to drop and swap.